Okay, we're joined now by Treaty Manager Tommy Barrett. Tommy, difficult night at the office, goes without saying. Disappointing defeat, and can't argue UCD fully deserving of the 3 points.
Yeah, a good side, Mike. Yeah, but the soft goals, it's not like they scored great goals. The third one was a good goal, but we were wide open. The first 2 goals were very, very poor from our perspective, and you can't give a team of their quality soft goals like that. It was really disappointing that we gave away those because, it's easy play them when you're 2-0 down, So we played some good football for the rest of the half, but sure, still no cutting edge keeper. We probably should have got one all right. Jason was unlucky, but yeah, look, in fairness to them, they were very good in the night.
When you look back at the sloppiness of the 2 goals, I presume we work a lot on set pieces all the time. It was their first corner kick of the night. The ball travelled across the box to the back post. Player takes it on his chest and scores. And the second goal unmarked at the back post again. Soft is probably an understatement at this level.
Yeah, definitely. Excuse me. Usually we have Ben Feeney in that hole. We switched Darren yesterday, just to have a look at it because he was Ben was out. Obviously, he was out last minute. He hurt his groin, but it went over his head, and then Jason, takes it down. Probably just put that out for a corner. So, it was a very soft goal. And the second one, for me, we two chances to get in tackles on the winger who crossed it, and then our positioning wasn't right there. I felt, and Jack pulled off 1 or 2 good saves after that. But yeah, it was poor, Mike.
And then you hit the crossbar before half time. It would have given you hope. Yeah. You didn't just go in at half time. I presume the players got a bit of the hairdryer treatment, but in the second half you did make changes, but just UCD always looked like, as you said, at 2-0 up, we're comfortable on the ball.
Yeah, look, we started positive enough in the second half, but we didn't really threaten the keeper. We did okay, but again, once they got the grips of it, they opened us up, handy enough there in the middle. I was a bit worried at times that they could have stretched more. They're a good side and they're good on the ball, but we need to be more aggressive. We need to be more aggressive, particularly in around the central midfield area. But look, lads got. I just have to get a consistent team out, Mike, to be honest. Again, that's not an excuse. It's just like a couple of lads, Javante put up injured yesterday. Ben Raf was sick all week. Not all week, but he was sick yesterday, so he didn't train, so that's why he didn't start. So he was a bit weak. We had a decent enough performance down in Kerry last week, but we were decent in pockets, but it's like 20 minutes here and there. But like concentration levels, that's a real worry for me, real issue, But it's and that you get that sometimes with young players, but UCD are young, you know what I mean? Like, look, they're probably together a bit more and they're together every day, but it's still, we need to be better. And it certainly wasn't great. We played a game up in Sligo last week specifically to get these boys minutes. Fionn did well when he came on, and Robbie played okay right back. But look, confidence is a thing. We just need to get back to basics, and that's my worry. We've been trying to get back to basics and keeping clean sheets, but it hasn't happened. Even last week, the first 2 minutes of the first half or second half, we conceded a goal from a set piece again. So it was poor, and we need to be concentrated for 90 minutes. There's some good periods of play, said it to lads, but 90 minutes you got to be concentrated for, and you got to get the basics right.
You made a point of going back out to make sure all the players got in after the game and to encourage them. Shows that you're on their side. I think you gave them maybe 10 minutes on their own to come in after the game, maybe just have a chat amongst players. Sometimes it's important to find your leaders within the group. Will you find answers tonight, or you'll talk about it in training next week? Or how do you now resurrect this and just find a winning thread again? Or is it just a case of get one win and it takes off from there?
I think it can. Look, we've played worse and had a lot more points in seasons gone by, but yeah, look, I went back on the pitch because I don't normally come in at before everyone. I normally stay out, so I just said I'd go back out because I wouldn't leave. I wouldn't leave the players out on their own either. Like, you know what I mean? I didn't want to be seen that to be like that, which I'm not like that. But I didn't even realise there was lads behind me. I thought everyone was in. The boys were over the far side. So when I did realise that, I went back out. Because we're a team. We're united. So players have to set the standard, and of course you give them a bit of time themselves. As I said, they're a young group. We just have to create those leaders. You have to get those boys back. You have to get a bit of bite. But it's not going well for us at the moment. Need a result, Mike.
You certainly do. You got to dust yourself down quickly. Page turns over very quickly in football. Bray next week. You know plenty about Bray. You've done well going up to the Carlisle grounds in the past, so won't put any fear into you. But it's again just finding that key ingredient and coming back with a win, and then you have your incentives for the supporters to come to the Wexford game. Big enough period now when you talk about winning maybe 3 games in this set. These are winnable games against teams who you expect to be in the playoff positions.
Yeah, but look, they're all kind of winnable to it if you're at it and you keep clean sheets and you don't give away silly sloppy goals. Like I wouldn't. Fairness, I think UCD play better football probably than Cork. They're a really good side, but Cork are that bit more experienced, obviously. So they're going to win the league. But like UCD are a really good side, Bray are a really good side, and then after that, I think everyone is pretty, level enough. There'll be a slog for the 5th position. Like Kerry could want a right run. Longford are hard to beat, and they're well drilled and they're well organised, and they'll get points. We need to get back to that.
The main man in the club, Ian McMahon, put out a little bit of a teaser yesterday saying big news coming for the club next week. I don't know whether you know or not, but we need some positivity now and maybe something by way of an announcement or something just to kickstart everybody's desire back in the club again.
Yeah, but look, sometimes it's just on the pitch that you got to get those results. That's what brings the positivity. So, there's good stuff. There's always good stuff going on off the pitch, and we're trying to build all the time. So, hopefully that'll be good news next week.